Okay, guys, moving into audiovisual argument analysis, not a super long section here, more of a discussion. As per your new study design, you have to analyze audiovisuals now. However, this will not be on your exam. This can only be part of your stacks because on the exam, obviously, you don't have any listening task and you can't listen to audio or watch a visual, such as, a TED talk. So just be aware that you're only doing audiovisual analysis in school, and your exam article will still likely be just an article, at most maybe something like a podcast transcript or another transcript of a spoken text, but you'll be analyzing it as a written text because it won't be audiovisual. So first of all, what are your audio materials? So commonly you might be looking at things like a TED talk in school, an excerpt from a podcast, some kind of sound clip or recording of a book or a story or a film, a debate on a topic, a Q&A segment, TV advertisement, could be almost anything. It's any kind of persuasive material that you actually have to view and listen to rather than just read. So audiovisual material is a little bit harder to work with because you have to use active listening to decipher the contentions, argument, and PLTs. And if you're not provided with a transcript of your audiovisual, you might actually have to write everything down as you're listening. Additionally, you have to analyze vocal techniques and you have to analyze any props or visual elements as well as body language as part of your argument analysis task, not just the PLTs alone. So the strategy that you can undertake in is active listening and note taking. So a little bit, I refer to this as a note form summary. So this means just writing down the key information as soon as you hear it. So quotes, identifying PLTs, the free arguments and contention, as well as a plan. But then when you have a complete plan, all of your evidence and arguments is noted down, it will be easier to write the whole essay on an audiovisual. So this is what that could look like. This is just a pretty standard plan, but obviously it's really important to have a plan like this that you can just fill in when you've got an audio visual text. Obviously it's too difficult if you don't have a transcript, and especially you really need to make sure you're writing down your body language, your vocal techniques. So was there stress there? Was there a raised or lowered intonation there? A pause or an extended pause? You need to be writing all of that down. If you won't have unlimited access to the audio visual text and be able to see it and watch it and listen to it as many times as you'd like, but you actually have a limit, so then unavoidably must go under your PLTs. Now, I also say to students, if your text is audio visual, to be reflective of the text type, I would aim for a 50-50 balance in my analysis. So, about 50% should just be my the same PLTs as you would see in a written text, and then the other 50% can be your body language, any visual element that's relevant, or you can see, and vocal techniques. So let's have a look at an example plan of this plan being used. This is in regards to a TED Talk from Khan Academy about online learning. So let's say we adopted the plan, and this is the quick version of the plan. So argument one was that online interactive learning should become the standard as it experienced significant support and is the preference of most students nowadays. The PLTs we noted down that we want to analyze include statistical evidence, anecdote, repetition, humor, and we see they've all been quoted. For argument two, online interactive learning is more convenient for both students and teachers or tutors alike. And again, the techniques have been noted down with quotes. For argument three, we noted down that movements to enforce wider use of interactive learning have already begun, but further action has to be taken in order to ensure that these beneficial changes are enforced at a national level. Again, techniques have been noted down with quotes. You can write the contention before you write your arguments, but some students like to write the contention last after they know what each argument is. So the contention has been written out as well. Khan contends that traditional models of in-classroom teaching are tedious and less effective. We should consider flipping the traditional classroom script to allow for online and interactive learning. And then, of course, you would apply the what, how, why process of analysis as you usually do. So for the statistical evidence, we have 1 million students a month using the site, watching on the order of 100 to 200,000 videos a day. This encourages the audience to consider that online interactive learning must be an effective teaching method if it's gained so much traction. So this is our intended effect. And then the why, reinforcing the idea that the methods utilized for learning should reflect modern day preferences of students, teachers, and their families. There's an anecdote that's been analyzed. I was in Boston and I was tutoring my cousins remotely. Again, the how intends to position the audience to feel that Khan is not only a successful business owner, but also an innovative individual who was concerned with the quality of available education methods. Thus, Khan confirms that there were no ulterior motives such as financial gain behind his innovation. So that's analysis of the why. You can have a read through the other ones as well. So it's just your typical analysis, but what were we missing? The actual audiovisual elements. So what can you see in that video is other things you need to be thinking of. Body language, in my opinion, may not be as relevant. I would aim to analyze more vocal techniques, so changes in volume, stress, pace, intonation, rising or falling. Those things I would pay more attention to, especially because your audiovisual analysis is stronger. Because if you're analyzing an audio technique, then inevitably you have to quote where that audio technique was used, such as quote where the stress was placed, and then you have to analyze both of those things. So it's almost like you're combining evidence and you're analyzing two things at once. You know, the PLT that stress was placed on, as well as the actual impact of placing emphatic stress on that on what was said. So that helps to elevate your audiovisual analysis and make it really, really, really high quality. Now, in terms of visual elements, if you do notice something relevant, some of those things could include facial expressions, hand gestures, hand movement while speaking, eye gaze, lack of eye contact or overwhelming eye contact, open or closed body language, use of the space and movement such as walking around, and body posture in general. So I've written down some of the general functions for you guys here that you can have a read through. But of course, this is just the general idea, but you need to apply it more specifically to that particular person, to that specific audiovisual piece of material. Now, more importantly, those audio elements that I said are more relevant, potentially more important. So intonation is the rise and fall of voice when speaking. So rising intonation is what I did just now, and falling intonation you usually use when you end a sentence. Also did just now. Okay, so using that appropriate meta language, you should be able to identify those in a text. Volume, obviously louder or quieter. Pace, speaking quicker or slower. Usually a faster pace helps to create this frantic feeling or frustrated feeling, and that slower pace can place a lot of emphasis on an idea. Pausing includes short pauses and long pauses. Stress, we know that's when we place emphasis on a certain word or syllable. And tone, but the difference in an audiovisual is you can actually hear the tone. Okay, looking at an exemplar audiovisual analysis. So if you'd like to, you can obviously search this video up on YouTube. This is only from a couple of months ago. Kate Middleton is a member of the royal family. The issue, this is kind of like this is from the Today News, and they're kind of like a news talk, a little bit trashy. They're just talking about the speculation surrounding Kate Middleton's health. She had a surgery. She was very secretive about it. Now she's been spotted in public for the first time. So they're wondering what's been going on. So let's have a look at this audiovisual analysis. The Today Show's guest, Russell Meyer, suggests that the public should respect Kate Middleton's privacy and support her recovery, rather than seeking out information about her condition. So, as per usual, you should write your normal topic sentence presenting the argument. In this case, obviously, this is just a one body paragraph thing. So this is almost like a contention rather than just a singular argument, okay? Notice what's different is, like we've mentioned, where this is coming from, the Today Show, And there's actually more than one speaker. There's the host and then there's the guest, but the guest talks for the majority of the time. So he's being attributed as the author pretty much of this. We're not saying author, but we're referring to him primarily throughout the piece and even in the topic sentence as well to help make that clear. The host of the Today Show opened the conversation by stating that there's been so much speculation, so many theories surrounding Kate Middleton's health, so we've completed the what. This exaggeration, naming the PLT, serves the function of entertaining viewers of the show and getting them engaged in the issue by emphasizing the controversy surrounding her condition. So we're analyzing this function of entertainment, and you can see that that's a little bit different than an analysis we'd expect just from a usual article. So you can see that there's some other things you can do and ideas you can come up with audio visuals, even just when considering their form and the type of audio visual. There's an analysis here of a visual element. Background video footage is also utilized to display Kate smiling and in good health, contrasting this with footage of the hospital where she undertook her surgery, which contributes to audience's sense of worry and speculation as to her current condition. So you've got an example of the visual analysis here, basically in that video, if you go and watch it. It's a big contrast, footage of her happy and smiling, and then footage of the hospital where she had the surgery. The show's guest, Russell Myers, provides his opinion in response to the issue by raising a rhetorical question. Why haven't we seen Kate then? Contradicting himself by suggesting that she was seen on Monday, resting and recuperating. Now, this has been underlined because there is an emphatic stress placed here too, so we have a vocal technique. Notice what I mentioned. Vocal techniques are best to analyze in an audiovisual because it's two birds with one stone, right? We identified that there's a stress and we've identified that there's a rhetorical question too, and we analyze both of those. So this is raised to highlight the importance of Kate being able to maintain her privacy while she's recovering, hoping to alert the public to the notion that they've been excessively interested in her activities and public appearances, despite her taking some needed time to herself. And this continues, so the rhetorical question was analyzed, and now the stress is being analyzed. The emphatic stress placed on she was seen highlights that Kate is indeed alive and well, and that there's no need for these rumors and speculation. Then there's more analysis of more written elements, which you can have a read through. And there's another one here. Throughout his appearance, Myers also maintains a sense of neutrality by maintaining composed, unchanging facial expressions, as well as minimal hand gestures, allowing for emphasis to be placed on his message rather than the dramatics of the news show. This is where it's kind of relating to the fact that he's really aiming to appear credible and that he's also concerned about Kate's safety and privacy and reinforcing this message that she should be left alone and there shouldn't be any rumors. And so you can have a read through the rest of this, but hopefully this gives you a great example of what an audiovisual analysis paragraph could look like.